In this video, I want to talk about my top 5 types of flashlights that I would recommend to friends and family. So if you're buying a flashlight as a gift or just recommending them in general, this will be a great video for you. So, this is going to be me just going through the different categories, and I have some examples of the flashlights in each category. It's not an exhaustive list, but it will give you a good indication of what to get, and you can do a bit of shopping around if you like. So the first category here is tactical flashlights, and I didn't even realize these things existed until, I don't know, maybe 6 months into looking into this hobby. But tactical flashlights are used by law enforcement, military. It's also used by just general people who want a really reliable high candela flashlight that can also be used for self-defense. So if you look at, for example, this one here, the Wurkkos FC12, there's also the Wurkkos FC12C, which is kind of the upgraded model, the better driver. The two styles of flashlights, generally speaking, you've got flashlights that have kind of long range beams, and you've got ones that have like a real floody sort of beam that where the beam just diverges off so you can see, basically more into your peripherals. So these tactical flashlights generally have a smooth reflector in them, and they have an LED at the bottom there that's designed for long-range performance. This is the Nitecore MH12SE, and if you're using this as a self-defense tool, some of these also have a strobe effect in there, which is quite disorientating. It's very bright. You can see from a long distance. I mean, these are basically the best sort of long-range sort of tools that you can get in terms of flashlights. You can get some larger flashlights like LEP flashlights, some SBT 90.2 flashlights. They have a huge head on those, and you kind of carry them around, but you're not going to fit them in your pocket. And if you're buying them for someone who's, especially not really so interested in flashlights or doesn't know much about them, there's no way that they're going to be carrying around some gigantic flashlight, something with a big head on it, even if it can outperform these ones by, another few hundred meters. Maybe you're thinking about getting your girlfriend or your wife something like this. There's a lot of choices out there. Nitecore, they do some great lights. There's Fenix, there's Nextorch. I've got another Nextorch flashlight here, tactical flashlight, and also another tactical pen light, which is pretty unusual. Okay, they come in all different shapes and sizes, different brands. Okay, these are just a few examples. The Nitecore EDC23 and 29 are like a new generation of tactical flashlight. So they produce a huge amount of output at a very small form factor. They've also got onboard charging. All these lights have onboard charging, because if you're gifting it to someone who doesn't know much about batteries, you're going to want to make sure that they can charge this thing through just basically plugging it into a wall socket. So that's going to make a big difference. The interfaces are also very, very easy to understand. So you've got a small button here, or the higher button to go through some lower modes, and then you've got this higher button here, lower button to access the highest mode possible. Same sort of deal here, except you've got a strobe mode as well in there with the Nitecore MH12SE. When you turn it on, it always goes into the highest mode, so it's pretty simple, like tail switch there. Same sort of deal with the Wurkkos FC12. There's so many of these out there on the market, but yeah, if you're looking for something with good value, I would recommend maybe checking Wurkkos. So the FC12, there's also the Sofirn SK1, which I think outperforms the FC12. So yeah, have a look and see what's best for you. The second type of flashlight that I would recommend for friends and family would be these sort of generic AAA, AA flashlights. They come in all different brands. I've got one here from Convoy. This is the Convoy T3. Just takes a normal AA cell, as well as a 14500 cell for extra brightness. But the reason why I suggest these is because they are so small, you can fit them into your pocket, fairly durable. Almost nothing can go wrong with these lights. They run on, rock solid drivers, and the LEDs are low powered as well. So if you leave them running for a whole day, nothing's going to happen, especially if you've got a AA alkaline cell in there, which are so easy to find. This one here is the Raylight Pineapple Mini, and it takes a AAA cell or a 10440 cell. I think these would be perfect for someone who doesn't want something too powerful, just something that they can use at night, around the house, maybe outside. You know, even if you're gifting them to someone younger, like children, you know, you don't want potentially to have lithium mixed into this situation, especially with charging ports and stuff like that. You know, if they take out the battery and drop it. So yeah, it's just a lot safer, especially if you're gifting these sort of things to kids. You know, AAA to AA cells, alkaline cells, you know, very little can go wrong there. You can also fit in nickel metal hydride cells as well. So yeah, there's tons of these out there on the market. I mean, you can also search for a lot of cheapies. There are some that are just a few dollars even. But yeah, this is the Acebeam Pokelit AA. And yeah, Convoy, Acebeam, Raylight. These are great brands that produce some fantastic sort of lights that take these primary cells. I really like how well these are built as well. They're all made of titanium, so if you drop it, that kind of thing, you know, definitely it's going to survive a decent drop. And Convoy would probably be the brand that I recommend if you're looking for the best value out of all of these, unless you might be able to find a Wurkkos or Sofirn one as well that takes AA cells, as they do have a few models. Okay, otherwise, if you spend a little bit more, you're going to get some extra features. And so the third category of light that I would recommend for friends and family would be these Convoy flashlights here, and there's quite a few of them, but these ones have a built-in USB-C charging port on the back, as you can see. Okay, and the difference between these ones and maybe some of the other lights that I've mentioned before is that these are kind of more customizable. So you can choose the LED. So maybe you know the person well and they want like something long range for use on a farm, or maybe they want something that's more of a floody sort of beam. You can actually customize the LED. It's very easy, very cheap as well comparatively to other flashlights, but the quality is excellent. I mean, I can't think of any other flashlight brand that offers this much value at this particular price point. So it's probably someone that has, you know, a specific use scenario for their flashlight, and maybe someone a little bit nerdier as well, because some of these lights can also be programmed, so you can go in, select different modes. It's less the case, I believe, for some of these particular models with the USB-C charging port. But yeah, like for this one example, it's got like a tint shifting mode on here, so you can switch between a cool sort of beam like this and a warm colored beam, so it kind of becomes more yellowish. Difficult to see here on camera, but I mean, that's pretty cool for a flashlight, especially, you know, at this price point, using some of those high powered lithium cells in there. You know, the person you're gifting it to probably is not going to have an external charger or know what to do. Personally, I'll check the torch first before gifting it to them. Just make sure that the battery that you buy charges properly within the light. Just take it out and measure the voltage to see that the light isn't overcharging it. If everything's okay, I think it would be fantastic as a gift, because yeah, it's just so easy to use. All of these have sort of set UIs in there, pretty basic kind of 4 modes: ramping, USB-C charging, you know, durable. What more could you want? So the fourth option here that I would recommend for friends and family would be something like these two flashlights here. Okay, I've got this Nextorch K40, and basically it's got a really kind of bright front light there. It's got a 1-step shortcut to strobe as well. It also has a few different RGB functions. If I can remember how to use them, it's been a while. Oh, there we go. That's a UV, red, and then like a flashy and sort of red and blue mode on there as well, which you can sort of change, turn off. It's been a while since I've used this thing. But it also comes with a USB-C charging port here on the side. Okay, so it's very easy to charge it. And basically, this is for someone who maybe just wants a little multi-purpose flashlight to keep on their keychain. You know, a lot of people really are not going to carry around a large flashlight with them. You know, they're not all like us. We, you know, someone like me, I'm going to be carrying around an 18650 light, or at least something like, you know, the EDC29 from Nitecore. But yeah, for most people, something smaller like this is going to be sufficient so that they can find their keys in the dark, just locate things in the dark. And Rovyvon do some excellent sort of examples of these flashlights. This is the Rovyvon E8. And before I forget, there's also another company called Tuneng, and they do similar sort of lights at a lower price point, and that's spelled Tunenge. I reviewed a few of them already on my channel, but I do think Rovyvon have an edge in terms of these smaller EDC flashlights. I mean, they just do it so well. They've got two buttons. This bottom button here, basically, oops, locked. Yeah, this bottom button here, you can activate all these LEDs. So that's like a normal mode, normal white LED. Then you've got this red mode here that you can activate, so a flashy red mode, signaling mode 2, and you've also got a UV mode, 365 nanometer UV mode. So, you know, this could even be useful for someone working in security that might need to check, you know, documents, security marks on documents and stuff like that. So it's really quite useful. The top button here allows you to select between a few different different brightness modes for the two front LEDs. You can clip this onto your hat, use it as a makeshift headlamp. I mean, it really does everything. And also inside, you have the ability to add another battery, so a AAA battery. And I think that's really cool because a lot of these little keychain lights have an inbuilt lithium polymer battery. Once that runs out, basically wears out, the light is more or less useless, but not with these Rovyvon lights, because you can still use add in primary cells. But yeah, I think these are really good options for some people out there, like I said, that, you know, maybe just like I don't know, it could be like a stocking stuffer or just something that you get as a little gift, and you know that that person will probably use it and attach it onto their keychain. All right, so this last category of lights that I'd recommend if you're buying a gift or maybe recommending it for a friend, and this is if you've got a bit of cash to splash around, it's the Loop SK05 Pro, and I've got the Acebeam Terminator M2. These are just a couple of examples of these multi-purpose flat style flashlights out there. There's quite a few of them, and more of them seem to be coming out from different companies. And basically, it's kind of like this all-in-one flashlight. Does everything. It even comes with all these flashy auxiliary lights. So yeah, the designs are often quite flashy, sci-fi-esque, as you can see here. So yeah, let's go through this one. So basically, got a lock mode with the SK05 Pro. Now this allows you to switch between two different beams. So you can go like a floody beam and then a spot beam for long range performance. And then you've got these RGB modes that everyone seems to go nuts about. Personally, I don't see much use in them. I don't really use them all too much, except for maybe the red mode. Where is it? It takes a little bit of time to get through, cycle through all of them. There we go. And then you can sort of select, where is it? The red mode here, okay? And there's also a normal flood mode. Where is it? This one here as well, like a normal sort of work light mode. Those are the only two modes I use in there. But for some reason, for a lot of non-flashlight people, they just love this RGB strip in there. And yeah, the design, as you can see, is really unique. It's something that if I got as a present, I would just be pretty stoked. And, you know, you can also change the batteries around in this particular model, remove them, add in new batteries if you like. But yeah, the point of it is basically the coolness factor, the look, and having all these kind of features. You know, I think it'd make a really awesome gift for someone who would appreciate something like that. And the Terminator M2, the Acebeam Terminator M2, is just another example, but basically you've got a floodlight and then a spotlight feature by flicking this switch. There is also where is it? There's also a auxiliary mode there that you can sort of switch to and select like different beam colors in there as well. So it's like another version. The spot mode on this is incredible. It's like as you can see, it's just so intense and doesn't have any spill at all. So it just lights up a target with nothing around it. So yeah, again, that's if you've got some extra cash to splash to someone very special. And a bit of a bonus one here is a headlamp, the Sofirn HS21. Now, there's tons of headlamps out there. This is just a category I thought that I would mention because some people out there, believe it or not, use these lights, on their job on a day-to-day basis. I don't use a flashlight for my job. Yeah, I'm just obsessed about them for some weird reason. But yeah, for a lot of people, they're quite practical because you can, of course, attach it to your head and you can work with your hands. And the Sofirn HS21 is the headlamp that I use the most. I've got so many of these things from just reviewing them over the years, but this one is just awesome because it has a long range beam. It's got a flood beam. It's got kind of combination long range plus flood. Plus it has this red beam as well, which allows you to use it at night so that you don't wreck your night vision. So easy to change modes. You just rotate this head, and when you want to change the brightness of each mode, you just press and hold that button on the top. So for most people, especially if you're gifting it to someone who doesn't know much about flashlights, it's quite intuitive to use. And again, this is more of like a category of headlamps. I've only chosen this one because I've got it out. I use this one all the time. There's the Acebeam H16 also that I have out, which runs off a AA cell. So for someone who wants something lighter, but yeah, really depends on the person that you're gifting it to. So I hope that this video has given you some ideas if you're buying something for someone, just based on different personality types, different uses. Like I said, it could be a tactical flashlight for self-defense, safety, someone who would appreciate something like that. It could be something pretty small and easy to carry around that's going to be able to take a beating, run off any kind of AA cell. So yeah, if you have any other questions, just let me know down below in the comments. I hope this was helpful for you. And yeah, let me know which kind of lights you would recommend. If you have any particular models, if you'd recommend them to friends and family, I'd like to hear.